Ah, hello. Time for another story. Back again so soon. Very good, very good. Well, you know the routine by now. Tonight's story is from Yorkshire. It's another legend of folklore, and it's called Simmer Water. Sit back, dim down the lights, give me your full attention, and I'll begin. It was early one morning when a gypsy woman came to Simmerdale from the moors. Her basket was filled with sprigs of heather and posies of wild flowers tied together with reeds. Her only company was that of a mongrel who padded along at her side, growling at anyone who came close or called unkindly to her from across the street. First she passed through the churchyard, where she laid some flowers upon a grave. Who she remembered, no one knew, and it was likely that no one cared. Lowering her head, she lingered there a while. Then she hitched up her skirts and wandered on along the cobbled street. From cottage to cottage she made her way, knocking upon the doors with her stick.
A sprig of wild heather to bring good luck, fresh flowers to sweeten the parlour.
But many doors were slammed in her face when it was found that a gypsy stood at the threshold, and some would have even driven her to the garden gate had not her mongrel bared its teeth. Undaunted, she climbed the cobbled hill. Yet wherever she called there was no charity and never a word of kindness. As the morning wore on, she grew weary and sad. When the sun was high, she came upon the crown of the hill, where the last cottage in the village stood. It was the home of a Quaker woman who lived alone. The windows were open to let in the summer breeze, and ivy coated its walls. The gypsy opened the gate and walked boldly up the path beneath an arch of roses.
A sprig of heather to bring good luck,
she began, once the door was opened, and she was surprised to be welcomed with a friendly smile.
"Come in and rest a while," the Quaker woman said. "It's a long climb up the hill, and you look so hot and tired."
She took the basket and helped the old gypsy over the step. Then she sat her down at the table and brought from the larder what little food she had to share with her visitor. There was bread and cheese and a cool glass of homemade ginger beer, and meat scraps for the dog. When they had eaten and chatted for a time, the Quaker woman chose a posy of wild flowers and put them in a jar of water. Then she squeezed several coppers into the gypsy's hand and stroked the mongrel's coat.
"There would be more if it were mine to give. God bless you and speed you on your way."
Before she passed over the shoulder of the hill, the gypsy turned to look back upon the village, remembering the harsh words and bitterness that she had encountered. They had treated her very unkindly, it was true to say. She stared down first into the valley, and then up into the sky.
"Simmerdale, Simmerdale, sink forever,"
she called. It is said that throughout that autumn and winter the heavens were plunged into darkness, hiding the sun by day and the moon at night. Torrential rains swelled the streams and rivers until water lay deep in the valley. Relentlessly it crept higher, ever higher, relentlessly creeping and crawling deep in the valley relentlessly, till it started to cover the homes of the villagers and the church. The flood was never to subside. Simmerdale was gone forever, with only a solitary cottage at the top of the hill where its fingers did not reach. And now in its place stands Simmer Water, a peaceful lake near Askrigg in the North Riding of Yorkshire. Those who live there in the area say that if you peer into its depths when the sun is bright, you can make out the shape of the church and the cottages of the village shimmering beneath. And stories are told of a posy of wild flowers whose colours never fade, which are sometimes seen floating on its surface.